Today, I want to explore Avery Silman within the first completed arc of the Rippaverse, the Isom Ill-Advised trilogy. Taken as a whole, the Ill-Advised series paints a greater picture of who exactly Avery is and what exactly he's actually fighting. On the surface, the story is following Avery's conflict with Darren Fontano, with a fun exclave-related Hellion side plot. But, of course, the deeper storyline at play is Avery's return as Isom, and the internal conflicts he has to overcome in order for Isom to truly return. Isom number 1 begins with Avery living on his ranch in the outskirts of Florespark, far from the city and the people he clearly wants to avoid. After receiving the call from his sister, Altona, that their old friend Jasmine seems to be missing and was recently known to be involved with Avery's childhood friend turned crime boss Darren Fontano, some narration sets up who Avery is at this moment and clearly describe his internal motivations or lack thereof. Avery says that he's isolated at his ranch for a reason. He left to get away from it all and built it up so he'd have no reason to go back to Florespark. In fact, he seems to imply that the only reason he's getting involved at all is so his mom doesn't get mad at him. So that's our hero, a reluctant man whose physical isolation mirrors his internal isolation, who, as we will learn, has the power and abilities to get involved and stop bad things from happening, but doesn't. And our story will follow these two parts of Avery, which are sort of intertwined with one another, his motivations and ego, as well as his past failures as a hero. I think it's all very cool and well done, so let's jump in. To learn more about Jasmine, Avery approaches Darren at his club, Club Merc, and Darren doesn't take too kindly to Avery butting into his business, and he proceeds to talk down to Avery regarding his failures as an athlete, a student, and as a man. It's here that a critical shift happens within Avery, who is quite rightfully insulted by this, but at the expense of his ego. In fact, his entire motivation shifts from checking on Jasmine to avenging his bruised ego, to the point to where he says he almost forgot about Jasmine altogether. Jasmine could be Darren's assistant. I'm fake concerned. I just want to punch him in the mouth. He talked down to me. That won't go unaddressed. That bruised ego we find out in Isom number 3 is a critical component to Avery's arc as a hero. His mother, Harriet, lets us in on a rather big piece of Avery's past and his powers. After saving his best friend Sam from the Hellions, Avery goes to see his mother who has just been attacked by Darren's men. She catches on that his powers have weakened, and it's in this conversation that his motivations are directly addressed. He tells her he needs to confront Darren, but she gets to the heart of the problem. Why does he need to confront Darren? It's not to check on Jasmine or to find out if she's safe. It's to, quote, take care of Darren. His mother tells him his intentions are just as important as his actions, that his heart needs to be in the right place. You see, Avery and his family get their powers from God himself, when an ancestor of theirs was healed by Jesus in Galilee. Since then, one person from each generation was granted gifts, except abilities that, at least for Avery, manifested in the form of incredible strength, durability, and resistance to heat and fire. Part of Avery's return to being the hero Isom is readjusting where his heart is, reforging his motivations from being self-centered and pride-driven to being placed in and towards the higher good of those in need. That will not only bring him back to a hero's internal mindset, behaving and thinking like a hero, but also returning to him his physical abilities, his ability to actually perform as a hero. It's more of this dual characterization we see sprinkled about these 3 books. But he still must address his physical isolation and what's holding him back from using those abilities to help others. The beginning of Isom number 2 provides us with a flashback to years ago when Avery was still acting as Isom. In it, 2 children are hiding from a monster when Avery comes in to save them. But amidst his rampage, Shadron kills one of the children, and Avery fails to stop him and save her. This failure is why Avery quit being Isom. We learn that Avery seems to attract monsters to him, and he comes to the understanding that by living as a hero, he's only bringing pain and suffering to the world, particularly to those he fails to protect, so he quits. If he distances himself physically and emotionally, maybe he can distance himself from the pain and the tragedy and the failures he feels responsible for. In his mind, distance means he can't hurt anyone anymore. Focusing on his ranch means he can't fail anyone anymore. But it's during a conversation with Cedric Gaucho, the tailor who made Avery's Isom suit, that Avery is forced to confront something difficult. His inaction hasn't prevented evil, it's allowed it to grow. Cedric puts it perfectly. Had you not been there, there'd be 2 families getting that dreadful visit, but you failed to save even more with your inaction. Just because you want to pretend it away doesn't mean the evil isn't present. This conversation with Cedric and the conversation with his mom are the crux of the 3 books and the journey Avery takes to return as Isom. Over the trilogy, Avery is taught that our failures can't be the thing that stops us. They have to be the thing we grow from. That inaction, especially when you've been given the power to change things, isn't preventing harm. A lot of the times it's allowing it, and that what motivates us matters. Because if our motivations aren't good, honest, and true, they'll only work against us, against who we are and who we're called to be. And by the end of the ill-advised trilogy, that isolated and haunted man is surrounded by a new group of exceptional friends ready to tackle the Hellions and help Floorspark. He's motivated by what's right instead of his pride, and he's finally confronting the failures that kept him from moving forward. I think these 3 books are honestly great, and I love to see the journey Avery has taken to return to Isom mentally and physically. Please let me know down below if you enjoyed this kind of video, and let me know if there's other characters or storylines you want to dig deeper into. If you found this interesting, be sure to check out the Rippaverse, and thanks for watching.